In this video, I'm going to show you my whole process of how I created a brand using the one concept logo approach. And I'm going to show you everything from the logo design, the brand naming, the website I created, and some of the other brand assets that I made. And I'm still working with them at the moment, but I wanted to walk you through the whole process of how I create a brand. This is specifically for a buyer's agent that has a luxurious feel to it, and they're launching a premium service to other businesses. So I want to walk you through this process, and hopefully you can learn how I design a brand. Now, first up, the brief that they brought to me was that they're launching a new service that is a buyer's agency, and they actually do the whole process from start to finish, where they find the property for you, they do all the appraisals, the negotiation, they find the contractors, developers, they do the market research, and they help you develop the site as well for a residential property. So they actually do the whole process, and they wanted a really like upmarket, luxurious feel to it. And so my job was to create the brand, create a website for them, and it all started with a brand name. So they actually needed to come up with a brand name. Now, what I did first was do some market research on some other businesses around Sydney, look at the competitors, look at their website, their logo, their colors, their name as well. And once I did that, I jumped into ChatGPT. Now, I put in the links from all the ones I researched, all these other businesses. There's a whole bunch of different names. And then I gave the prompt to create a list of brand names that focus on certain keywords and the style we're going for. And I actually made my client go through this questionnaire, and I actually have a Notion template that you can get. I will put the link in the description. I actually did the whole project all within my Notion board. As you can see here, this is how I managed my whole project from start to finish, how I communicated with my client. You can see the timeline that we went through, all the strategy phases, design, development, and launch. And I basically made them go through this questionnaire to extract some of that information. We didn't have to go through a whole strategy so I did this before I took them into my brand strategy discovery phase. And so I took some of this information, I summarized it from our brand discovery workshop, and then I went into brand naming. So you can see this is the discovery strategy document that I did take them through, asked them a whole bunch of questions, went through the brand personality, the tone of voice, the circle, golden circle, the purpose, the 15-year plan, went through some of the values as well, broke down their products and services, the feel and look of the brand, what are the key benefits, the key features, the audience and the customers, and the demographics. And so I took them through this whole process, and that helps me get all the information for the which I put into ChatGPT and to start creating the name. And if you do want this template, I will put the template down below. It's a brand discovery template that you can use for your clients as well, fully editable in Illustrator. Now, back to ChatGPT, I put the information in, everything from the questionnaire, and then it gave us a whole bunch of different names here. And at first, we're just focusing on names of 2 words, and then we went down to single words. So you can see my process here. I was like, avoid names that our competitors are using, and then we went through and just kept refining it. As you can see, started to get some pretty cool names. Some were a bit cliche, some were a bit too hard to say, or some just didn't make much sense. So I had to keep refining it. And then, just combine different words, asked it to use specific keywords as well that we were aiming for. So you can see some of the ideas here: estate elite, credit build, trust terror. There's a whole different bunch of ones here, and it gave us some of the descriptions. And so after we refined this, we actually decided to go down to 1 word because it was easier to say, more simple, and it's easier to find a domain for it. So after we went through that refinement, we came up with a bunch of names, and then I presented it to my client. So I went ahead and presented the brand names the first round, and then after that we did some refinement. So focused on the onlyness statement, the positioning statement, the brand values, the customer, and then I showed them, after like breaking down the brand voice, competitor names, and then what I presented to them. So I gave my top 5 based on the ones that I selected. I had a whole list that I created in Notion, and then I started thinking about taglines as well. We wanted something that was very simple and easy to use, and you can see some of the names there. And I did some domain research on GoDaddy on what's actually available, and so that's how I came up with that name. And I also used ChatGPT to come up with some of the taglines as well, and then just using my knowledge and stuff like that, just came up with a whole bunch of ones, as you can see, and then we ended up picking one that we liked. Now, the next phase after brand naming was to create some mood boards. Sometimes I do stylescapes, but in this case I just did 3 different mood boards in Illustrator. I got the colors and the logos from competitors and put it onto a slide, as you can see right here, just to break down some of the stuff we want to avoid. As you can see, a whole bunch of different styles, different colors, and I presented 3 different mood boards, one being the sophisticated prestige, very clean, elegant typography, dark emerald gold color tints, and you can see very minimal, very nice. And then we presented the next one, which is modern minimalist. So you can see blacks, browns, focus more on the materials, more white space. The font is a bit more sans serif. So I presented that one, and then I did more of a futuristic, modern, neo-pristine, I called it. More dark, with great grid lines, bold imagery, maybe some 3D elements. So those were the 3 mood boards I presented, and we ended up going with mood board number 1. Now the next phase was to go into logo design. So first up, I went to just screenshot and paste the mood board and the visual look and feel that we're going for. So I wanted something that's like modern, serious, luxurious, a bit more exclusive, and a little bit innovative. I found this logo that I liked, and I like this sort of house diamond concept, and so I wanted to stick with that. And one of the key words that we talked about was finding unique opportunities or unique properties in the market. They have a unique contact list and way of doing things. So I thought about a diamond. A diamond is something that is hard to find, it's exclusive, it's premium, it's expensive, it's only created under pressure in volcanoes and under the ground with lots of heat. And so I thought of a diamond, a precious material, and then I thought of a house because they work with residential homes, duplexes, houses, that type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, house. And then I thought about, we find unique properties in Sydney. So I thought of a location pin. So then I was like, okay, that was my initial concept. Now let's start to create the logo. You can see the process. I just started with a simple diamond shape and a house. And I started to build out this concept of the diamond within the house. And then I had some ideas of like a location pin, different versions, started playing with the gradients, started playing with different shapes, found some with like maybe taking that off. Then I decided to focus on maybe we want like a townhouse duplex style. So I started putting some next to each other, and these were kind of cool concepts, but they were getting a little bit complicated. And then here were the 3 concepts that I initially came up with, applying those colors, and I thought it works really well. But I ended up picking this one because it is just really nice. You can see it has an arrow in it, it's got a diamond, and also the house shape, and I thought it was really great. I ended up also playing around with different fonts. As you can see, he wanted to be modern but elegant, so I found a few fonts that I liked. Then I ended up picking this nice font, Gambetta, and I was really digging this. I did have to tweak the kerning a little bit, just tighten up. I played around with this T and this R, but then it felt like it looked like a U. You couldn't really read the T, so I took that off, and I just try to keep it simple. I ended up playing around with different patterns. As you can see, something that could be used on like print material or the website. And then you can see, started to create a different pattern. And then I landed on this one, but I ended up getting rid of the gradient because it was too complex. And I think that works really well. And you can see sort of this is how it started to come together. Started to just put it out, lay it out, see the logo lock up in its full form, and putting the tagline there. And I thought it was really elegant, really awesome. And I presented it in a nice logo presentation. And I always present doing a Loom call on a video. So this was the presentation. So once again, we recapped on a bit of the identity, the initial phase, and then, explaining what a logo should be. And then I presented the logo ID in Illustrator. You can see how I laid it all out. You can see the diamond, the house, and the arrow concept, how I came up with that idea and the explanation of my choices, as you can see. So 3 ideas into one, and just breaking down the logo, explaining some of the rationale behind it, the logo construction, how it looks amongst competitors. You can see it looks different, stands out, premium. Break down the typography, pick 2 different fonts here, break down the colors as well, and then created some cool mock-ups, posters, some guidebooks, logo badge, looks really clean, and business card, and then the other visual brand assets, pattern, icons, business cards, basic banner, photography, stock photos. And that's what I presented for the first round logo. Just did 1 concept. I didn't do 2 or 3 concepts because typically I will do 2 or 3, and this time I'm like, no, I have a strong idea, I'm gonna stick with my gut and do 1 logo concept. And it worked. I love the design, and we just have to like tweak a few of the things, but all the design and the colors and everything is basically the same. So after that, I created some more assets. So I went and you can see my working file. You know, it looks kind of messy, but in the end, this is like how I created some of the elements. So you can see everything's like laid out together, you know, for the posters and the guidebooks. Created some different versions of like how the title page or cover page could look like. Created a badge. You can see the icons here that I worked on. Created these custom icons, and I found some online and just customized it to the brand. Ended up creating like this cool badge. I just started working on the website as well, just like create a hero banner, and then I built it out from there, and then took it into Figma. And so that's the working file. So you can see the progression over time, how it developed. Now, the next part of the phase was to create the brand guidelines and then move on to the website after that. So I ended up creating this brand guideline template. So you can see this, I will be releasing this soon, so I will put a link in the description eventually. So here's what I created for the brand guidelines. You can see we start off with the brand, tone of voice, you know, taglines, different words, keywords they can use, our values, just keeping everything really simple, nothing too crazy, because it's not a gigantic company. You know, they have up to 10 employees, but it's not like huge. So kept it really simple. Showed how the logo variations, the clear space, what not to do to the logo. Then we got brand colors, break down the colors. You can see the gradients, RGB, CMYK, put the hex codes, some of the color combinations they can use with the colors, just to show like what can be on top of what color. Gold and green, you know, gold and black, etc. Then I break down the type settings, the font, as you can see there, the 2 fonts, and then I put links in the PDF. I obviously exported this as PDFs for my client. You make your development journey simple, beautifully laid up type, and then we've got the graphics and photos. So how to use the pattern, photography, block photos, the icons, business card, the welcome brochures and guides, social media, and that was basically it. Super excited for it. And then we went into the style sheet. So I created a 1-page version as well, as you can see here. Just a more simple version so the client can quickly grab the colors or text or whatever. So I have this template as well. You can actually download this template. You can get it on my store on my website. I'll put a link in the description below. So that was that. Once we created all this, then we actually created the website. So I moved on to creating a landing page at first. Then we started building up some other pages. So you can see, created some motion, little interactions here. FAQ section, beautiful, love the quality, get in touch. And then we've got like a services page, a development page, so you can see all this. Created some reports as well. We ended up doing some templates for them, and we're still working on some other touch points. Then we've got developments here. Go onto this page, super cool, and you can click on a development and it opens up a lightbox, and you can filter through that. Looks really nice. And scroll through and got upcoming developments, a whole bunch of cool stuff. And then you can click schedule call and take you to the contact page. So that was the website we created for them. And that was the whole process of creating this specific brand using the one logo design approach, one concept. And it works really well. You know, it takes a lot of experience to understand like what to do, what to create, and work with businesses. But I'm super happy with the result. And we're working with them. We're doing videos. We're doing, you know, a whole bunch of different stuff. We're printing off some, working on a whole bunch of other things with them at the moment. But I just want to show you and walk you through some of the process and some of the behind the scenes of how this type of brand comes together. You know, it's not overly complicated, but you know, once you know what you're doing, it makes a ton of difference. But I recommend you try and do the one logo or one brand concept approach. It just saves you a lot more time than trying to do all these different concepts. And you know, when clients have confidence in you and you know what you're doing, you can get results a lot faster instead of trying to spend all this time, spend months, when you can spend, you know, less than a month, couple weeks, 3 weeks, figuring out a strong brand and delivering that. And it makes a ton of difference. So thanks so much for watching. If you do want to learn how to create your own brand identity or logo, I do have 2 courses. You can actually check it out. I'll put the links in the description below. My courses will help you. They're also on Skillshare as well, you can check out. And I break down my whole process of like nitty gritty details, how to design, how to create a brand and identity. So if you want to learn that, you can check it out. If you want to get some logo design secrets, you can watch this video right here where I share my top 5 logo design secrets to make sure that your logos stand out. Cheers.